Previously on the chat room with Ig and Tosin.
Words are they're quite tricky, because
Yeah.
you might not want to, you might say the right thing with the wrong
But
attitude,
with wrong attitude.
or the person might misinterpret what you have said.
Yeah. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching us from. This is the chat room with Ig and Tosin.
Hello.
Welcome to our space.
Welcome to our space.
It's been fun. It's been great having you all these episodes/chapters. Thank you for sticking with us, enjoying what we do. We are glad and we appreciate it. So today we are going to be talking about habits. What are habits? How do you imbibe good habits, new habits, and how do you break bad habits? So Ig, what is a habit or what are habits to you?
Okay, I'd say habits are choices you make repeatedly, or things you do repeatedly until it forms not a part of you. Yeah, it could be, forms a part of you, so that it could be intentional or unintentional. I think it's more unintentional, because most times you do things without thinking too much about it. You do things without giving it a conscious thought, and then they become your habits. They become something that you do regularly, and to change those habits, you have to become intentional about it. So I'd say habits could be unintentional or intentional, but to change habits, to form new habits, you have to become intentional about forming new habits.
Yeah, like there's something I read about habits, said there are passive habits and active habits. Passive are the ones you do subconsciously, and it becomes a part of you. While active habits are things you intentionally do.
Yes.
Let's say, okay, I want to start eating healthier. So now I'm going to start buying healthy things to eat. Or I want to start drinking water. For those of you that don't drink water. Some people that are allergic to water. Yeah. So that's being intentional, like, okay, I'm going to start drinking minimum 2 liters of water today.
But that's when you're changing, that's when you're forming new habits, right? Before now, the habits you formed over the years, they're just choices you make probably without
but choices,
conscious thoughts, right?
Yeah, but choices, when you are presented with choices, you make a decision. Even though it's conscious or subconscious.
Subconscious.
But the first time you did it, let's say, okay, the first time they bought water or a fizzy drink, you made the conscious choice to pick the fizzy drink.
Yeah, but also routine comes into place, right? Yes, choices, habits and choices go hand in hand. I was listening to a preacher who was talking about before he got married, he used to, like, he runs all the time. He likes running, and he runs, he comes out of his house, he dresses up, gets up in the morning and goes for a run every single morning for years. And then he got married, and his wife told him one day, "Why do you always turn left when you leave the house for your run?" Then he realized that every single day that he has run, he's done his running, and every single day for years, he just turns left. And then she pointed it out to him and said, "Why don't you try turning right once in a while?" And he did. And it was like he said, it was weird at first, but he didn't know he had formed, because routine comes into play. He didn't know he had formed the habit of it. So then it wasn't really a choice, was it? It was just routine. He comes out of the house, dresses up the same way, comes out of the house and turns left. So his wife had to point it out to him. He didn't even know that he had formed the habit of turning left in his run. So
yeah, that reminds me of something. Like, I'm right-handed, but my dominant hand is like my left hand. And one day my dad, I didn't know he was observing and watching me. And he was like, "Are you left-handed?" They were like, "You're not left-handed." And I was like, no, but said you use your left hand a lot. And I realized when I want to wear clothes, my left leg, like when I want to wear my jeans or trousers, my left leg goes in first. If I want to wear a top, my left arm. Because it was when he mentioned it, I was like, okay, let me just, like, why do I always wear the left first before I put in the right? Like you said, it became a routine. I did not even know.
It became a routine. You didn't even know about it. So yeah.
And the day I tried to do the right, and it just felt odd. Like, let me just stick to what I know. Yeah. Because he just noticed it, that he just looked at me. Well, like, why are you using your left hand more than your right?
So it could just be a routine that's turned into a habit. You've been doing it over the years. You didn't even think about it. And
yeah, like I've had some bad habits that I had to break, and there are some that I'm still learning. I'm sure if I mention one, you're going to laugh. Like, okay, I'll give an example. This one, there are some that breaking habits. Some can be like supernatural, and some takes work. I'll give to an example. Okay, when I was a child, I had, let's say, okay, I have an example, like something, it just goes immediately. Okay. And with the help, like I had a very potty mouth when I was a child. The F word and its children, the grandchildren, the great-grandchildren. I said everything and I knew everything. And how did I learn it? Family, I had older siblings, TV, the environment.
Yeah.
And I could curse people out. But I knew it was wrong because I couldn't say it in front of my parents. They'll slap it out of my mouth. And how did I stop? I gave my heart to Christ, and that was it. And the day I tried to say it again, this revulsion came from within. And I felt sick, literally sick.
Saying it.
And saying it. And ever since then, people that know me, you swear around me, you get a punch. It brings out a reaction from within. But there are some that they had to learn to put a guard.
You have to learn new habits to replace.
Yes.
Well, there are some people that instead of cursing, they just they use a nicer way of cursing.
Or the pop.
But the intention, the thing is still the same.
Yeah.
But it's a step forward, isn't it? Like, it's a step forward, isn't it?
Yeah. I was watching a documentary, and like what you said, they were not using the F word, but they were using another word. But they were using the same word. They were using the other word the same way. And in my mind, I was like, it is not what you're saying, but the meaning.
The meaning and the intention behind it, like, oh, God bless you. And that blessing is not a blessing. So
so like we said, breaking habits. Like I heard this thing that forming habits is easier than breaking it. Because it's now become a part of you.
Yeah.
That is why breaking it, you have to be intentional.
Yes,
and tell yourself either one day or day one. So you might have many day ones, or like I always tell myself, tomorrow never comes. It's always tomorrow. It's always tomorrow. So if you tell yourself, I'm going to form this new habit tomorrow, but if you tell yourself today, so today is day one, not one.
Yeah, even you can have many day ones, like you said.
You have many day ones, yeah. But at least you're
being the wagon. You start again. You fall off the wagon. You know, I read something about someone talked about habits. Habits are not set in stone. You know, you can start today and start developing new habits. You know, and your life can be completely different. You'll be in a completely different place in 6 months, in 1 year. Yeah. You know, so habits are not set in stone. They're just, you know, byproducts of your character. So they're not set in stone. And some people, for example, late coming is a habit, you know. So it doesn't mean that the first time you do it and you don't. Habits take time. I mean, if you think about the one you have formed over the years, like year in, it's probably something you've been doing, a routine you've been doing every day for, you know, for years, 15 years, 30 years, 40 years. don't put that pressure on yourself to like change it in a minute or to change it in a day. You can start learning new habits. Just, I said my habit, one thing I had to break was my sleeping habits. Like, I used to be a night person. I could go the whole day and go the whole night, just without sleep, just doing one thing or the other, working or reading or writing or, and when I had kids, I had to start learning new habits because you have to change your sleeping pattern to go with theirs, to accommodate theirs. So, wherever you are today, you can start learning new habits, and your life could be completely different in another 1 year, 2 years.
Like there was a statement I read that your life is the sum of your habits.
Yes, and choices.
Because choices. Because after a while, when the choice becomes routine, you keep making the same choice over and over again. You can choose to fly up the handle or choose to keep quiet. You can choose to be nasty or choose to be kind. You can choose to be courteous or you can choose to, it's just every day. I think every day we're presented with choices.
Yes.
And what the habit we formed would now determine the choice we make. So I just believe every day we are presented with choices, and it's now up to you. Because I was reading something and it said a habit is formed by a trigger. Something triggers something. Let's say a situation triggers it. Then the action. What do you do? Then the reward. Because you keep forming, the habit is formed based on reward. Because let's say somebody that, let's use an example, gets high. Maybe the trigger might be, okay, you are stressed. Then the action is taking something. Then the reward you get is the high feeling. Then, or somebody that is addicted to coffee, you can't function without coffee. So when you take the coffee, everything calms down. That is the high. Then you now wonder, after a while, it becomes routine. Then it now becomes a part of you.
It becomes a part of you. Like I always, talk about like personality, your person, developing your person all the time, and there are habits good habits you can form, and that's the only way to replace a bad habit. So if you want to stop a bad habit or a habit you're not comfortable with or a habit you're not happy with, then you start making choices and developing a good one. And yes, it would.
Like there was something Paul said. He said, all things are lawful, but not be enslaved by anything.
Yes.
So you might think, a habit, we're talking about bad habit is maybe something, it can be just something very minute or something that seems trivial. Like you said, late coming. Some people don't see, like the day I decided to start keeping to time was I went for a function and they said, the second session is starting at 2. For African time, it starts at 1. And people were laughing. And I felt it was quite insulting that, okay, are you saying we do not keep to time?
Yes, you do not keep to time.
I keep to time.
Not you.
Okay.
Africans. That's why they always do that. And they don't keep to time.
But it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. That's
the way. Someone who tells you, okay, 1 o'clock we have a meeting, and you don't get to see the person till like 5 or 6 or 7. So
like and then I forget the day I was in a situation, and that day I was, the Holy Spirit, my angel just had to seal my mouth shut because I was about to give them. The person said, we're going out at this time. I like, okay, fine. Then an hour went, 2 hours. Then the person came back and was hurrying us up for keeping them waiting. And I was like, really? You kept us waiting for 2 hours?
2 hours.
You're now hurrying us up, and there was no apology. I'm sorry for wasting 2 hours of your time.
Yeah.
And ever since, I was just like, when I like to keep to time, it's just having respect. I see it as having respect for the other person's time.
Yes, for other people's time.
Time. And it could just be, okay, being nice, like saying please and thank you. Some people find it hard to say please and thank you. I've realized that it's like, okay, even though it's the person's job, but just saying, please, thank you.
Thank you. Yes. Those are good habits. Like those are things that you should, those are things that should form a part of you, but you don't take that for granted because there are a lot of people that they didn't grow up like that. They were not taught that way. They were not brought up that way.
Like what you said, the boys, there was something you said when we were just discussing. You said to break a habit, form new habits.
Form new habits, yes.
And it's like transform your habits, transform your life. Change your habit, change your life.
Definitely.
And people do not know they actually go hand in hand. Like I'll give an example, a new habit I'm trying to imbibe, which I'm sure I will be very happy, is learning how to take compliments.
Oh, you're looking really nice, Tosin.
Thank you. So you see, a journey of 1,000 miles starts with one step.
One step,
So I'm learning how to take compliments. Before I would just make a face or just not say anything. And IG has called me out on so many times. And then, so IG, what new habit, before we round up, what new habit are you trying to imbibe?
Well, I talked about my sleeping habits and then writing. Yes, I write and I like writing. And just told myself I have to be intentional because I have not been consistent with it. So being intentional about writing and and the other habits that I've been forming, over the years. So we still haven't learned everything. I'm not perfect, but getting there.
Thank you. So thank you so much for joining us today. Like we said, habits are things you do daily until it becomes a part of you.
Yes.
So what habits do you have? What habits are you trying to break? And we said to break them, you have to be intentional. You have to focus on the change. So every day you're presented with a choice, day one or one day.
Mm-hmm.
And there was something I heard, inconsistency lies the power.
Yes.
So you have to be consistent. You cannot just say, oh, I'm doing it today and then drop it. It has to be consistent. In consistency lies the power. So let us know your thoughts, your comments on habits. What habits have you broken? What steps did you take to break those habits? And what new habits are you trying to imbibe? And what steps are you taking to cultivate those habits to become a part of you? So I would like to say to follow all our pages. All our pages are all, I don't want to use down below. They'll be shown on the screen. Now I've elevated myself. All the pages are going to be shown on the screen. So we've gone up a step. All the pages, all our social media pages are showing on the screen.
Follow, like, share, tell people about us.
And then I notice all you ghost people that do not like, share, or subscribe. So from me, have a wonderful day, wonderful week, and a wonderful life. And from IG,
till next time, see you.
Bye.
Bye.
Next time on the chat room with IG and Tosin. I always say bullies are cowards.
Yes, they are definitely cowards.
Go after people that are supposedly weaker than them.
Yes, exactly. So it's not really about the position, or for example, in a marriage, it's easy to probably say, oh, the husband bullies. But women can also, the wife could be a bully.